All right, we have a lot of presenters this morning, so we're going to get started. Our first presenter is known for his passion and involvement in the world's leading 3D technology, and he has over 43 friends on Facebook.
No, yeah, I friended him today.
44 friends. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, the Director of 3D Services for the DeWalt Corporation, Matt Byrd.
Matt Byrd!
Matt! Welcome.
And then this way, when I high-five him, watch this.
High five.
Watch.
There you go. Okay.
Thank you. Is my mic on? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I can't hear myself, sorry. Good morning, and thank you for inviting me to present with you. I want to get kicked off by just showing a video, just showing some example data, as well as some of the data I'm going to go over in a case study with you. So we'll watch that video first. Just a quick view in WEBSHARE Cloud, which we utilized. And the second part of that, the building, this is the case study we're going to be going over. What I want to talk about is our process at DeWalt Corporation in California. I direct the 3D services, and we use the FARO equipment. We use the FARO laser scanner, targetless registration in scene, and recently really started using WEBSHARE Cloud more and more. So I'm going to review this case study with you on a building that we did. And we're going to cover the workflow we use for targetless registration in scene, how to adjust misplaced scans when doing targetless registration, workflow and experience into WEBSHARE Cloud, and some of the tips and tricks we use on overall 3D projects. So the case study we're going to look at was a 200,000 square foot building, and it was being used for food processing. It had changed ownership a couple times. Everything was ripped out of it, and the new owner of the building was going to be converting it into a new food processing plant. So our workflow was going to be to scan the entire 200,000 square foot area, deliver a 3D colorized point cloud for measurement, planning, space planning, and we were going to take it into WEBSHARE Cloud for walkthrough as well. So I want to just show some of the stuff from that. Unique challenges that we faced. The company that was doing the design and engineering on this project was coming from out of state. They were going to be here for a limited time, and they didn't get the chance to walk through or even really see this project themselves before both of us met there to do the walkthrough. So they had 2 days on site, and we were going to be using targetless registration, which I'll get to as well. We were told it was going to be 3 big empty rooms, and this is one of those projects everyone has had where, you know, you're told it's one thing, and then you get there and it's 5 of those. It's a lot bigger than planned. So due to a short time frame, we didn't get extra days. We were required to get everything done in that time. So instead of telling our client we couldn't do it, we reduced some settings, we made things a little faster so we could get it done. So this is going to be what the site we thought was going to look like, just size-wise. We were told it was about 150,000 square feet. So we were told it was 3 large rooms that contained most of that square footage. So based on that, we could, you know, we pictured it would be something like this. They had no site plan, no pictures, no address. We had nothing to look at visually. So what the site really looked like, though, this is, I know the picture looks a little funny, but that is not 3 large rooms. It ended up being 16 different rooms with multiple levels, large structure and equipment that was in the way, and as well as current work activities. They were pressure washing rooms, they were installing new equipment already. It was a mess. And the funny part was they didn't even know that was happening. We got to the building and walked in, and they started showing us a room, and they would see another door. They would go through that and turn the lights on and say, oh, I guess we need to get this too. And that happened a lot. 3, we thought it was 3 rooms, ended up being 16. So again, we only had 2 days on site. This is a picture of the point cloud with the clipping box turned on, so this is cutting off the ceiling. And some of the data, it may not be super clean and super impressive, but the part that was impressive for us was that we were able to use the FARO and targetless registration and get this all done in 2 days, when if we got to walk this site, you know, before giving our time proposal, it would have been much more than that, so we could get it done very clean for them. But for what they were using it for, this was okay. So here's a couple pictures of some of the rooms. I know that point cloud, in fact, let me go back, sorry. So you can see a bunch of different rooms here, and the point cloud's turned down a little so you can see through some stuff. So these next pictures will be some of the detail inside of those different rooms. So here you can see there's 2 levels, lots of steel. That is a very, very long hallway, very small, skinny, long hallway that we scanned down, and it was the length of the building. That one they had just finished pressure washing. We were waiting on them for that. You can see some more stairs. So it was definitely not what we thought we were walking into. Our field collection workflow, there were 2 of us there. We spent a total of about 15 hours on site, which included the initial walkthrough, which was probably 2 hours just finding new rooms and really trying to find what the client really needed to pick up, if there was any rooms we could pass to make sure we got things done on time for them. Using the site plan we actually found this at the site. We'd never seen it before, so we just took a picture of it and started planning kind of what the best route we were going to take, you know, for time's sake. And for us, it's really, you know, important that when you get to your site, setting up and getting your first scan going, just to help you get the maximum amount of scans and time usage as possible. Of course, you want to complete as many scans as you can each day. And I know some of the stuff I'm going over is basic. I'm trying to hit a lot of different subjects here. I've talked to many people, and I know there's a lot of people here who don't have a scanner yet. They're trying to look into it, what the workflow looks like. I know there's a lot of people who do use FARO but haven't got into the targetless registration yet, so we're going to cover that a little bit, as well as WEBSHARE Cloud and some of the benefits we see from there. So when scanning for targetless registration, as opposed to using targets, of course you want to make sure that you can see similar surfaces and objects. So inside of this building, we thought it'd be a great idea because there's a lot of open space, a lot of big walls, floor, ceiling. There were a lot of things that could be used for the targetless registration. And another thing when you are doing targetless is adding a few extra scans in between. So when we're going from room to room, even if you want to turn the resolution and the quality down and put it in a doorway just to help get some of the overlap data, that'll really help with the process in the registration. So we were going to bring all of our scans into FARO Scene, do the targetless registration, and with our workflow, we do the top view first for the alignment, and secondly, we use cloud to cloud to finish up the fine-tuning on the registration. Then we took it into WEBSHARE Cloud, and from there we can, once we're done with that process, we've got our entire point cloud. If we need to make more deliverables, we can take it into other softwares. So in Scene, when you are getting into this targetless registration, when you do your place scans, you've got multiple options now. You can use your targets, you can do top view, or you can do cloud to cloud. So we do the top view first, and sometimes that doesn't get it all by itself. But from there you can open up in the correspondence view, and you can see all of your scans and what that initial layout looked like. You can click and drag on misplaced scans, so you can grab any of those, pull them to where they should be, rotate it, and rerun your registration. Here's another view you can see still inside that correspondence view where you can really see a site. You can drag and move those in place. It's really a nice way to get them in the rough location before running that cloud to cloud. So after doing the top view, there's the cloud to cloud options. We usually leave most of the settings there at the default. If you are using large data sets, you can go ahead and increase the subsampling, which is going to use less points. So when we were inside of that building and we had 125 scans, that was a lot of data to run at once. So when you increase that, it'll help with the speed of the cloud to cloud. So here, once the cloud to cloud is finished, it really has a nice layout of the results. You get to see the percentage of overlap you got, and then the amount of points used, and then you get your overall statistics there as well. So here's a picture of just an example, just a quick data set that we made just for showing that workflow. DeWalt Corporation has started using WEBSHARE Cloud on almost every project for us. And we know that there's still a lot of hesitation about WEBSHARE Cloud, and there's a lot of concerns, but some of the reasons we've started using it are, one, it's a simple addition to the already existing workflow. So once you're done doing your registration and your point cloud is ready, directly in Scene, you just create your project and upload it. There's no transferring onto hard drives or any of that. It's cost effective for us, and we found that it's offering new deliverables to clients that they have specific problems that WEBSHARE Cloud has helped solve by itself, even apart from creating 3D models or delivering point clouds. WEBSHARE Cloud, just the ability for them to walk through and use the panoramic viewing has helped solve a lot of problems for them. So in Scene, the process to get your project created and up to WEBSHARE Cloud is very simple. Once your project is finished, you can see there's just the option to create your WEBSHARE Cloud data. So you've imported, processed, registered, finalized, and directly from there you just create the data and it uploads to your WEBSHARE Cloud site. So you've got multiple options for WEBSHARE Cloud. Once it's uploaded, your clients can go directly to your website, which ours is dewaltcorp.websharecloud.com. And from there, you've got a map showing any of the locations of the projects that you've done, as well as initially when you first go to the site, you can see any projects that you've listed as public. You have the option to add logins for your customers and put privacy settings so that, you know, when you first go on the site, you're not seeing projects that shouldn't be shared. So when you log in, you've got access to your own projects. When you first open a project, you can see your overview map. You can see the point cloud there. From that, you can do things like measuring, making notes, getting square footage of area. There's a lot of different things you can do. Then you go into the panoramic view, and all of this works very quickly, very smooth, being that it's run off of the Amazon Web Services. And from there, the way we like to explain it to our clients for using WEBSHARE is that it's kind of like a private Google Street View of your own project. You get in that panoramic view, and then you can see the other scan locations, and simply by double clicking on that or clicking open, you're able to walk through your entire project, make notes. For us, the workflow we use is taking whatever field notes we've done and turning it into the virtual project in WEBSHARE Cloud. So this is some of the WEBSHARE Cloud of the building project that we're reviewing. So from here, the client is able to pull distances from wall to wall, getting the area of a room, and then walking through their entire site in the panoramic view. And being that the company doing design and engineering was coming from out of state, this is very valuable to them. If they need to go measure a room or look at a piece of equipment or anything, they don't have to fly out here. In 2 days, we were able to capture the entire building, 200,000 square feet, 16 rooms, and now they can virtually just walk through the entire thing, making notes of what does this room need to be turned into, what piece of equipment should go over here. They can save those, and then any subcontractors that are going to be working on this project, they can share that, and it's very helpful for them. Here's another picture, just using some annotations, telling them where entrances are, what equipment is, pulling measurements on steel. And one of the tools with the measuring in here, as you can see, kind of for an example, we pulled a measurement there off of the bottom of that steel, and we dragged it over to the ground. You have some expansion options there to still make sure you can get the exact vertical. Just by expanding that measurement, you can get the exact, along the X and the Y axis. One thing that we did run into, because we had to do this scan so fast, if we reduce the resolution down, you'll see that your images do get a little bit blurry. So that was one thing that we did run into, because we did have to reduce our settings a little further than we wanted to, and a lot further than we normally do. So just for example, when we went below a quarter resolution, the image looked kind of like this, and then there's another image here, same area but above the quarter resolution, and it's a lot clearer. So we have put into our workflow to start spending more time on site and getting a lot cleaner data, and then that way, whether we're using WEBSHARE, whether we're creating a point cloud, everything is a lot cleaner. Here's a couple other images just showing that same thing. When your resolution's reduced, the image is going to be a little bit blurrier, but if you increase it, it's a lot clearer. So overall, we have found that the FARO products we use have brought successful workflows to our company. We work in oil and gas, transportation, food, construction, and recently we've started doing a lot for law firms. Our workflow, again, we use the FARO scanner. taking it directly into Scene, which we've defaulted now to using targetless registration, and going directly into WEBSHARE Cloud. Whether the client wants it or not, we found it's a great workflow for us to do it with every project. That way, if we want it, if we need it, you know, if the client wants to see something additional, we can just say, hey, we've already got this. And we found that it's a great workflow for us. And then depending on the project type, of course, we take it into other softwares directly from there. AutoCAD, Civil 3D, Point Tools, Qubit, ClearEdge, InnovX, a lot of different things. So some of the tips and tricks that I want to leave you with overall, and some of them maybe for beginners, some not. One, visit the site anytime possible, especially on any large projects. Obviously that wasn't an option for us this time, and we never turned down a client, so we just went ahead and did what we could. But if you get the option to visit a site, do so. Communication and a working relationship with the client is definitely key. You know, we worked with these people, even though, you know, it turned from being a very simple project into a large building, a little more difficulty involved. A working relationship and just being open in communication with your client, they're usually willing to work with you on that. And being very specific in your communication on projects, such as, you know, what exactly do you really need picked up, what level of detail, and what deliverables you need. Workflow planning, knowing who's going to be handling what tasks, what software is going to be used. It definitely helps in the speed of your overall project. For us, we work a lot in oil and gas, and safety is a big one. So making sure you know any safety requirements or personal, you know, PPE that needs to be done, or any safety training before visiting a site, before getting there and finding out you didn't do something. Saving and backing up data is something that we've seen a lot of people struggle with, and it's something that we've put into our constant workflow of even on an hourly basis sometimes, because sometimes software crashes, maybe just something can go wrong. So making sure that you back up your data constantly, so you know your workflow to go back to a previous spot in, whether it be Scene or whether it be, you know, the next software that you take it into. If things need to be on a coordinate system, that's another that we've heard a lot of people have some issues with. So trying to get that workflow down before your project, knowing that whether you have to deliver the point cloud on a coordinate system, whether you're 3D model and that's what needs to be on the coordinate system, just getting that workflow down. And integrating new tools into our workflow is definitely something that has helped us tremendously in turning around our deliverables, which then makes us more competitive in bidding with timing, but it also reduces costs for our clients, and that's a big help to them. And Scene cloud-to-cloud registration is one thing that we've started using a lot, which reduces our project times and our turnaround times. And we've heard that there's a lot of hesitation, you know, even talking one-on-one with a lot of you about the targetless registration. But we've done a lot of testing, and things have come out very accurate for us. And I'd love to talk with anybody about that workflow afterwards. And last but not least, customer service is definitely one of the highest on our list. Making sure we get feedback on what we delivered, what we can do better for them next time, what their needs are, finding new ways to use scanning. And that would be the end of my presentation. I want to show the video one more time too. Now that we've just given you that overall that we used for the building, I just want to show that data one more time. Thank you again, and if anyone wants to meet with me just to talk in depth about our workflow or discuss targetless registration and how we're implementing that, or WEBSHARE Cloud, please do so. Thank you.